Just straight nukes in this game, not going for any baits. Forretress takes these frenzy plants like it's nothing. Here comes the Earthquake. This is going to one-shot the Venusaur if it goes unshielded. Boom! Catch that smoke. This is what you love to see. Shadow Forretress into the Victreebel. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, so please consider subscribing to the channel if that is of interest to you. And if you're a returning subscriber like Pratesh Talpada, thank you for the support. In today's video, we are taking a look at a Pokemon that has really shook up the meta for this 30-second switch timer. That is Shadow Forretress, a Pokemon which we've had a lot of fun with in the past on this channel, and it just does really well against a lot of the meta that is currently being utilized for this 30-second switch timer. A lot of the Pokemon we're seeing in this meta right now consist of Alolan Ninetales, Deoxys, Umbreon, even Pokemon like Sableye, Venusaur, a lot of grass types. These Pokemon do struggle quite a bit against Shadow Forretress, so it definitely has a place in the meta as it currently stands. For this video, I'll be utilizing Shadow Forretress in 3 different teams, but just 4 Pokemon across those 3 different teams and basically different orders. Overall, I did pretty well with this team. I did 5 sets, went 16-9 overall. The team I had the most success with is the final team in this video, consisting of Shadow Forretress lead with Defense Deoxys, Meganium in the back. Now, right away you can tell that team is extremely weak to fire. When building this team, I was basing it around what I'm seeing in the meta, and I haven't really seen any fire types, so if I'm not seeing them, I'm gonna build a team that's weak to it because I don't expect to see it very often. And that's pretty much how I came up with the team idea. Now, is it risky to run it because of that? Of course. However, it did manage to work out despite that weakness because, like I said, we're not seeing a lot of fire types in the meta currently. If you guys enjoyed this type of video, make sure you smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Leave a comment in the comments section down below. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. Alright, so let's jump into the first battle here. Got AlphaFeeb. First lineup we're testing out is Defense Deoxys with Shadow Forretress and Meganium in the back. Now, you could try to lure out the fire type, but there really isn't much fire in this meta, I find, so not really going to do that. We got a Shadow Hypno here in the first matchup, and the game crashes. So, typical Niantic. This is putting me at a huge disadvantage while I'm reloading the game. And you can see we come back in and look at our health. Boom! Straight from green to yellow. I'm not sure if I got hit by a charge move there. If I did, that actually probably would have been better because that would have prevented them from getting extra farm. But at this point, what is usually a winnable situation for us turns into a losing one. So it looks like the opponent's not running Shadow Ball, which is a bit better for us, of course. We could have came back in this matchup knocked out entirely, but we are able to get that Thunderbolt, and I'm actually able to get to the Psycho Boost before the opponent knocks me out. Now, at this point, this isn't going to KO. I swap into my Forretress to finish off the job, get rid of all that extra energy the Hypno had. I was okay switching out there, locking myself into this match because I do have a shield advantage. So Politoed here, going to be spamming the weather balls. Politoed is absolutely everywhere in this meta right now, and I'm going to probably shield up at this point. Look to land an Earthquake here, and Earthquake does a lot of damage to Politoed, probably about 60%. You can see it does knock it out there, and the opponent has a Ferrothorn in the back, so this is looking pretty good for us. The Forretress, of course, is very low in health and actually running Mirror Shot here, so you could pretty safely assume once the Ferrothorn shows Mirror Shot, the second move is going to be Power Whip, which means this is an absolutely dominating matchup. And I think I made a mistake there going for Mirror Shot. I wasn't sure if I would survive this Mirror Shot, which obviously I do, so I could have got to the Earthquake there, but I have Meganium in the back anyways. Meganium is going to end up winning this matchup against the Ferrothorn here with this type of a health advantage, as well as the ability to land the Earthquake here. So opponent throws a Mirror Shot, my attack does drop, I still go for the Earthquake here. Probably could have swapped out, but I know I'm gonna get the final shield anyway, so I do throw that. And now at this point, I'm going to build up for another Earthquake before swapping out into one of my 2 Pokemon to reset the debuff. Really not worried here about anything. We do actually end up catching the move onto the Deoxys, which is even better. And now we come back in with the Meganium. Earthquake ready to go. This is going to knock out the Ferrothorn, and we win that game despite that horrible crash at the start of the match. So Matt 200 here in the second matchup. And like I said in the intro, we're going to be showcasing a lot of difficult matchups here, showcasing a lot of losses as well. Here we have a horrible matchup for Deoxys. However, running Psycho Boost, you can actually win this in the 0 shields. So we see a bit more lag here, and the opponent swaps out. I didn't see what they swapped into there, so let's see what it is. It's actually a Cresselia, so I'm going to bring in Forretress here. And you love to see this. Forretress is an absolute monster in the meta currently. Everybody's running things that are weak to it, it seems, so it's a really solid pick. Opponent comes back in with the Swampert. I'm actually going to let this go through. Hope the switch timer comes back up and bring in the Meganium here. And they threw way too soon here, so I'm actually going to take a chance that this is not a Sludge Wave, it is only a Hydro Cannon. And I'm going to look to farm down completely here. If they decide to throw here, this has to be another Hydro Cannon, so I'm not going to shield once more and just farm down, but they swap out to Cresselia. Frenzy Plant should be enough to knock it out in this range, I think. If not, I'll swap into my Forretress, but it is enough to KO. So let's see what they bring in now. They're going to come in with their third Pokemon, I'd imagine. It is in Alolan Ninetales, so I'm going to come with the Forretress here. Throw this Mirror Shot. This is going to be doing a lot of damage here to Ninetales. Does get the first shield. They swap out to Swampert. I'm going to throw the Mirror Shot here. I think I was switch locked, so I probably couldn't swap out. Yeah, I am switch locked, so had to throw that there. They do let it go down. Ninetales comes back in. If I shield this, I should be able to get to one more Mirror Shot, which is probably going to get the final shield. This is a pretty tough match. Actually, no, we have Deoxys in the back at full health, so this is pretty much over here. Even though Deoxys isn't running Rock Slide, getting that second shield and having energy here. Going to throw a Thunderbolt and then throw the Psycho Boost after that. Just didn't want to throw a Psycho Boost first to lower my own attack, so I went for the Thunderbolt. We have a shield. This Ninetales can't really knock us out with any single move, so that means I am able to get to the Psycho Boost. Opponent backs out, and we're off to a nice start here in this video. Modestmerlin here in the next matchup. We're going to be looking at Deoxys into Alolan Marowak, so this is one of the worst leads, not only for Deoxys, but for this entire team. But they are running Hex instead of Fire Spin, so that means the backline has a somewhat better matchup here. I probably should have swapped out immediately here instead of trying to stay in. I do come with Forretress here. Forretress has a horrible matchup, as we see a bit more lag here. I had a lot of lag in these matches, and it gets worse as the video goes on. So, that's always unfortunate, but the opponent does come with Politoed here, so I'm going to get to this Earthquake. And let's see what the opponent chooses to do. They do actually choose to shield, which I like to see, and then I come with Deoxys. I know I could survive this Weather Ball, so I'm not going to shield. I'm going to throw this Thunderbolt, which is going to be doing a lot of damage to the Politoed. And best case scenario, they actually do shield this as well, because I do have Meganium for that. So they do go down their second shield, come back in with the Marowak, and I'm going to throw this Psycho Boost here. Now at this point, I should be looking to swap into my Meganium, I think, but I actually decide to stay in here, which I feel is a mistake. And I didn't shield here because I had a feeling they would throw a Bone Club, which means I will get off one more move. But again, this is debuffed, so I really think I should have swapped here, especially seeing that they do have Bone Club, Shadow Bone. Meganium would have a better matchup there, so I think I made a couple of mistakes in this particular matchup, but granted, it is a very difficult lead to come back from. You can see I can't really farm down here. I'm hoping this is only a Bone Club here. It's actually a Shadow Ball, which puts me in a really tough spot now, because they do have an Alolan Ninetales pretty much on every single team right now. And you know, this team doesn't do too bad against Ninetales. It is actually a Charm one, so I'm going to get to this Mirror Shot here, which should be enough to KO the Ninetales, but they still have that Politoed in the back, and my Meganium is extremely low in health now. Kind of wish I did spend the shield now against that Marowak, because I kind of need it at this point. I'm in Weather Ball range here. I come with Meganium, and they swap out into Marowak. I come with my own Deoxys. I have to let this go through, and the only play here is to hope that I could farm down with Vine Whip before they farm me down, have enough energy for the Frenzy Plant, which would knock out Politoed. Didn't happen, we lose that game. Nathan Jatar here in the next matchup, who is from Brazil, so shout out to all the Brasileiros out there. We got Deoxys into Meganium, and we see some more lag here. So Deoxys to Meganium is a pretty neutral matchup overall. I guess Deoxys could win this in 2 shields, but of course with Psycho Boost it's a little bit tricky because of the debuff. So the opponent swaps onto Stunfisk to catch a smooch, which is a really nice swap on their part. And now I'm going to bring in my Meganium here. So when I come in with Meganium, of course with that Psycho Boost damage, I can get into Earthquake range, so I'm actually just going to go for that straight away. and look to see if I can knock this thing out in one shot, which we're able to do. So that's a nice break for us to come back in with Meganium, which makes me think they might be a little bit weak to this in the back. This is not a good counter, obviously, it's just a mirror match. Tried to swap into my Deoxys catch this move, but I failed. So going to swap in now, and I have the Psycho Boost ready. Going to throw that at the opposing Meganium here, and it does get a shield. So at this point, I think what I'm going to do is actually let the Deoxys go down, come in with the Forretress, farm this thing down completely, and hope that that plus Meganium can take care of their final Pokemon. So you see Forretress here absolutely obliterating this Meganium right here. And I'm actually going to choose to shield this just in case it is an Earthquake. It's going to do substantial damage, so I wanted to keep this Forretress healthy since I had 2 shields anyways. Opponent actually backs out. Jangle's 21 here in the next match. I believe this is former rank 1 actual leaderboard, so very talented trainer, and I think I battled him like 3 times last night, so shout out to him. Deoxys into Alolan Ninetales, not a good matchup here without Rock Slide, of course, and I can't really swap out into my Meganium, so what I'm looking to do here is take possibly a shield advantage before coming in with my Forretress once the Deoxys goes down. So I throw a Thunderbolt here, and we do get a shield. At this point, I could throw the Psycho Boost after this Weather Ball, but I'm actually going to look to try and farm up for the Thunderbolt instead, which is a misplay on my part, obviously, because they do outpace me. Could have got off the Psycho Boost, but totally fine. So coming to Forretress here, they swap into Vigoroth, and this team has a pretty big issue against Vigoroth once the Deoxys is gone, so it's going to be both. Well, I mean, the Meganium matchup's kind of neutral, but it's not a good matchup to be in, so I do try to catch the Bulldoze here, I'm hoping, which we do manage to do, which is a huge break for us to come in with Alolan Ninetales. So like I said, everybody's running this sort of Politoed A9 core, which makes sense in this super spammy meta with 30-second switch timers. This team tends to do pretty well against it, and some of the other lines I use actually do even better. Typically, I don't see the Politoed too often in the lead. It's usually Alolan Ninetales, and see Vigoroth comes back in here. This is a really rough matchup at this point, and I'm expecting the Politoed in the back here, so I'm totally expecting to shield this, anticipating the Politoed in the back. So if they do shield, which they do, it's pretty much guaranteed to be Politoed. Here comes Forretress, and even with a shield advantage here, this is a pretty tough matchup because I don't have enough health to survive some of these Weather Balls. So I am going to get to the Earthquake, but unfortunately from this range it isn't going to KO, and I'm going to get hit by this Weather Ball first. So even if this did KO now, which it's not going to, my Forretress would be too low now from that extra Weather Ball to knock out the Vigoroth here. So we end up losing this matchup in a very tight contest there, and we did okay with this team. We went 3-2 with this particular line. I ended up switching it up after, and this is the second line here with the Forretress lead actually have Stunfisk in the place of Deoxys and Meganium in the back. So we see a horrible lead here once again, and I believe in this match I played this incorrectly, so I'm going for the mirror shot here right away, which is a huge mistake. If you get stuck in this situation, what you want to do is actually just tank all the Weather Balls. Don't throw mirror shot. I was hoping to get the debuff there, but that's the wrong play. You could actually win this in the 0 shield, I believe, by going for the Earthquake. So you don't shield anything, and you just go for the Earthquake. Because I threw that mirror shot, I'm actually not going to get to the Earthquake. So you could see right here, it's a pretty rough spot, and I definitely do not recommend playing like that in the future. Now, we bring in Meganium, and the opponent swaps out into Deoxys. So I'm going to throw the Frenzy Plants here, and then I'm going to swap out into my own Stunfisk. So because my Stunfisk here actually has a very good match against Deoxys, I'm going to look to overfarm a bit just because they do have the switch timer. As you see, they're going to switch in first. Now I throw the Rock Slide here, which is going to apply a lot of pressure, and now since they don't shield it, I can actually farm down before they get to the next move. Since they were dry in energy, they come back into Deoxys. I'm going to go straight for the Earthquake here because I'm not anticipating a shield at this point, and I could get rid of this Deoxys in one shot, which we're able to do. Melmetal comes in now, and we have not only Stunfisk, but also Meganium here. Now you can make the argument that I could stay in with the Stunfisk, let them throw the superpower, because they can't knock out Rock Slides. So at that point, they would be so debuffed that Meganium would have an even easier matchup, but I decided to just save that Earthquake on the Stunfisk, kind of Meganium, which has a good matchup anyways, and pretty much use no shields here. So I'm hoping to get some shields from the Melmetal, but at this point, with the 2 shields, I'm pretty sure I could just win this match with the Stunfisk, go for the Earthquake. No point to bait there because I'm guaranteed to get to 2 and they only have 1 shield left. So just go straight for the Earthquake. We take that game against a pretty difficult lead. BlazaAlt here in the next match. And going to be leading our Shadow Forretress into a Swampert, so another very difficult lead here. This one's even worse than the Politoed. And I'm going to look to probably take this to the 1 shield if I can. Let the first Hydro Cannon go through, but it should outpace me to the second one before I get to the Earthquake. So I want to get off this Earthquake for sure. So I'm going to do here shield and hope that I could get this Earthquake off. I actually don't think this Earthquake will KO, but maybe it will. Actually no, this Earthquake should KO for sure because yeah, so they have to shield that to go to the 1 shield. They bring in the Stunfisk here, so they give up switch advantage. I come in with my Stunfisk. Sorry, they came in with Galvantula, giving up switch advantage. I come in with my Stunfisk, and this is like hard counter city. Now, if you watch my videos, you know I'm a Galvantula user, so I'm never on this side of the matchup. It's always me getting destroyed. And they swap it onto Swampert. I come with Meganium to catch the Hydro Cannon. Now, these 30-second switch turn battles are pretty crazy. You have to be really on top of the swaps here. I'm able to farm down completely there because giving up just 1 second really flips a game here. You're gonna see in a couple of battles, some of my opponents played the switch timer to perfection. In this particular matchup, I'm just gonna let the lunge go through, come with the Stunfisk, farm this thing down completely, and have energy ready to go. So here comes the Stunfisk, Galvantula goes down, Ninetales comes back in, and we just have to spam the rock slides here. And we're gonna be able to take this game. So the opponent actually doesn't even shield, and we're going to win right there. So Stunfisk looking pretty solid on this team. Koondagg here in the next match. And I believe this is one of the matchups that was really hurt by lag, unfortunately. So we got another pretty bad lead here. So I like to play it the same way. I'm just going to build up for the Earthquake, not shield anything, and go from there once I throw the Earthquake. So Rock Slide comes through. I do get to the Earthquake here before they throw their second move. It's going to be doing a lot of damage to the Stunfisk, so they do actually shield. And at this point, I think I'm actually going to let the Forretress go down here. This won't KO, so of course I could reach another move. And if I want to shield, I can actually get to 1 more Earthquake. So they bring in Pelipper, I come with Meganium. This is pretty rough match, but because I had a shield advantage, I felt okay coming up with the Meganium here, as opposed to the Stunfisk. And you can see the Pelipper here takes a lot of damage from the Frenzy Plant. If this is a Hurricane, it's going to KO. It's actually a Weather Ball, which is devastating for me. I'm not able to farm down before they swap out the Tropius, so it's actually a good thing I saved the Stunfisk because Meganium would have got absolutely destroyed. And now we're in a pretty decent position to win this game, I think. So I'm going to go for the Rock Slides here. Our switch timer should more or less be at around the same right now. So throwing the Rock Slide. Anticipating a switch, this should be CMP though, so I should get off 1 more Rock Slide after the Leaf Blade comes through. Yeah, so they can't swap out. Rock Slide's going to come through on this Tropius, and I'm expecting to switch, so I'm going to instantly swap into my own Forretress here. Throw the Mirror Shot. I was actually expecting to swap out into their Pelipper though, not the Stunfisk. So definitely didn't want to throw the Mirror Shot there, but we did get the shield, which is really nice. And had I come with Meganium instead, I guess they would have shielded anyways. But here comes the Rock Slide, and this is where the lag happens. I should be winning this right here. Earthquake. You can see lag. They get in the extra Mud Shot, and they get off the move before me, which is absolutely embarrassing. It didn't even register for me, so I'm forced to burn that shield. A huge turn of events here because I should have knocked out this Stunfisk instead. Had my shield still. Because I was forced to burn that shield due to the lag, I have to shield up this Weather Ball. So that costs me the game here because I would have farmed down, and then my Stunfisk should have been able to finish off this game. If not, my Meganium would have got to a Frenzy Plant. So we end up losing that game as a result of lag, but I mean, it happens, right? So nothing you can do. B-Rack 88 here. In the next match, we got Forretress into Politoed, so another horrible lead for us. And like I said in the first match where we played this, I went for the Mirror Shot. It's the wrong play. You want to just take this to the 0 shields, go for the Earthquake, and basically lose switch but take a shield advantage. So we can't survive this next Weather Ball, and Earthquake is pretty much going to KO at this point. So I'm going to throw the Earthquake here. If this actually goes unshielded, we are going to end up taking switch, which is huge for us in a matchup that's pretty bad. And you can see they come with Umbreon, so this is likely a team that is triple, well actually it's not triple because Politoed's not weak to Forretress, but backline's probably very weak to the Shadow Forretress here, and the opponent farms this down completely, so they are loaded on energy. Now I come in with the Meganium, and here comes the Stunfisk to counter the Ninetales. Now the problem is I'm about 1 second behind here, I think, on the switch timer, and this opponent pretty much plays this switch timer to perfection in this matchup. So you guys are going to see right here, they're going to swap out into Umbreon, and unfortunately my switch timer's not up yet, so I have to eat this foul play. I don't want to shield this, so I let it go through. And because they actually get off that foul play there after swapping, that's like another 7-8 seconds that they get on their side as an advantage. So I'm trying to make up for that time not here now, so I'm trying to over farm to Frenzy Plant, and I'm hoping by the time I finish throwing this, my switch timer will be up, because I know they're going to swap out into the Ninetales immediately. My switch timer's not up yet, so I can't swap out yet, so I'm forced to burn a shield here on this Ninetales. And now I'm going to throw the Frenzy Plant. This will probably get the shield, but now my switch timer is becoming even more desynced, so I come with the Stunfisk here, get off this Rock Slide. The problem is that Rock Slide actually doesn't KO here, and now I'm forced to make a decision. Do I want to shield up the Stunfisk, or do I want to let it go? I know the Umbreon has a move, so switching here, I'm hoping my switch timer comes up, but it's not. You can see we're behind. Opponent plays that perfectly, swaps out, taking full advantage of the switch timer. This is basically a game where if it was 60 seconds, the game would have been over. I would have probably just won off alignment, but because of the switch timer, you can see the only win condition here I have is to get to the Frenzy Plant. We do get to it. A little bit of lag, but I don't think that affected anything, because it was probably CMP tie anyways, and Ninetales is going to win that. So the opponent played that extremely well. We did have a very bad lead, of course, but they played the switch timer to perfection and really punished me for falling behind in it. So GG's there. Bottupii here in the next matchup. This is what you love to see. Shadow Forretress into the Victreebel. Opponent swaps onto Vigoroth. We don't really have a great answer. So at this point, what I'm thinking is this team is probably Shadow Vic, Vigoroth, and then Bastiodon on the back, right? So my thinking is I probably can't win switch here because I'm behind. Like, maybe I can, but it's probably better to actually lose switch and just take a, like, if I'm going to lose switch, that is, just take a shield advantage. So I decide to shield here, knowing I will get off this next Frenzy Plant, which is going to force the final shield. And then I have a decision to make whether I want to shield once more and go with the Frenzy Plant. And the opponent actually went for a very aggressive farm now. So I was actually probably going to shield here and get off that Frenzy Plant to maintain switch based on how it was going, but they actually don't have a Bastiodon, they have an Umbreon. So they're double weak to this Forretress in the back. So I just come with Stunfisk actually to pretty much milk the Umbreon and then have the Forretress saved for the end game. But we take that game. So next set here, we are using the final team. This is the team I enjoyed the most. Forretress lead with Deoxys and Meganium. Very similar to my Galvantula lead team, except Forretress in its place. We see a very positive lead here. Opponent swaps onto Stunfisk, and here comes Meganium. So we've seen a lot of bad leads up until this point. We're going to start seeing some pretty good leads here now with this team. And I think that has a lot to do with Forretress just finding a lot of good matchups in this meta currently. So beat that Rock Slide here. I'm going to throw this Earthquake as soon as I get to 100 energy here. And the opponent actually chooses to let that go through. They swap out into Venusaur. I come with the Forretress. And at this point, I'm just going straight for the Earthquake here. Just straight nukes in this game. Not going for any baits. Forretress takes these Frenzy Plants like it's nothing. Here comes the Earthquake. This is going to one-shot the Venusaur if it goes unshielded. Boom! Catch that smoke. Bastiodon comes in. So I'm going to go for one more Earthquake, and then I have the Deoxys in the back. They try to swap. I just go with Deoxys, farm it down, and they don't want the smoke, so they leave the room. We take that game. MattyGreyson here in the next match. So that was a pretty hard counter line in the last match. My opponent didn't really have much they could do there. My team just completely hard countered them. But this matchup here, another very positive lead. You can see Forretress loves seeing the Alolan Ninetales. So Ninetales is going to throw the move here. I'm not going to shield anything. I'm just going to go straight Mirror Shots here, because Mirror Shot, I don't believe Mirror Shot will knock out the Ninetales. However, it's going to put it really low. So it definitely forces the shield. Of course, with Fairy and Ice, both of them being weak to the Steel type, it's going to be doing a lot. So we're going to just keep taking moves here, get to one more Mirror Shot. At this point, I believe it is in the range of being knocked out from the Mirror Shot, so it does actually shield. And here, if they decide to stay in, I'm just going to shield up, get to one more Mirror Shot, and take this match with a shield advantage, I believe. They swap it onto Deoxys. I'm going to actually build up for the Mirror Shot before swapping onto my own. And now I get in the extra counter, which is huge. So they do throw the Thunderbolts here. That makes me think they're running Thunderbolts plus Psycho Boost, same as me. I'm going to have the Thunderbolts here while denying the extra counter from their end. And getting these extra counters in is going to make up for the late switch. They come back in with the Ninetales. I swap out to Forretress, throw this Mirror Shot in the middle of their Powder Snow animation, which does knock out the Ninetales here. That's the biggest threat to my Meganium, so I'm feeling pretty comfortable right now. Umbreon comes in. I have Meganium for this. I have a shield advantage, and we have the Deoxys mirror match. So things are looking pretty good for us right now. Probably anticipating the swap out into the Deoxys at some point, at which point I would like to come in with my own, because I want to keep my Deoxys away from this Umbreon at all costs right now. Do still have the shield. I'm not going to shield anything yet, and going to get to one more Frenzy Plant. At this point I know that even if they do swap, this is going to knock out the Deoxys, so I'm okay with whatever they do here. They take that move. Now they swap out. I bring in my own Deoxys, and I'm not quite in Thunderbolt range yet, so I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to throw the Thunderbolts here, which is going to knock out their own Deoxys, and then the Umbreon should get countered down here from my Deoxys, which is going to be enough to take that game. So the Forretress lead really punishing opponents right now. YellowItsMee. This is probably, I've said in previous videos when I battled this opponent, probably my favorite name in all of GBL. And we got a horrible lead here. Toxicroak is one of the worst leads to see here. Of course, Fire is worse, but Toxicroak, I only have one answer for it, and that is Deoxys. And then you never want to bring in your hard counter as a safe switch, of course, but I didn't really have a choice here. I had to make something happen, and we do get hard countered in return by the Sableye, so this game is just pretty much impossible from the get-go. I think at this point now I could come in with the Forretress. Now, in hindsight, what I was trying to do is actually to catch the move onto the Deoxys from that Toxicroak, but they actually didn't throw, so they banked the energy. So that kind of made this even more difficult. My only win condition here is pretty much landing the Earthquake, getting rid of this Toxicroak, hoping Meganium could beat the final Pokemon, but makes a lot of sense, of course, for the opponent to shield there. No real reason to let that go through, and I have no answer for this Toxicroak in the back. So I can't even really get to an Earthquake before they reach the Sludge Bombs. Pretty much have to hope for a Mud Bomb here to have any chance of whatever little chance there is remaining. And we get pretty much destroyed there by the Toxicroak, so GG's. Pyro, Kopi, Rorikin here in the next match. And we are leading the Forretress into an Umbreon. So another very nice lead here for the Shadow Forretress. These Bug Bites absolutely going off here on the Umbreon. Now, I think a regular Forretress would actually work pretty well too, to be honest. A bit more tanky. I just don't have a good one to build, so I stick with the Shadow here. Going for the Mirror Shot on this Umbreon. I don't think we've gotten a single attack drop with the Mirror Shot yet. I did 25 battles with Forretress. If I recall correctly, I don't think I got a single Mirror Shot debuff, which is pretty insane when you think about it. So Deoxys comes in here, Mirror Match. And again, like I have said in the past, I like to try and sneak in the extra counters here. You can see I build up. They get in the extra counter instead, which is not good. I'm going to throw the Thunderbolts here. And it looks like they're probably running Rock Slide Psycho Boost, so I do get the counter back there. And the Rock Slide comes through. At this point, I know if they beat me to the Thunderbolt, it's only going to be a Psycho Boost, so I'm not going to shield this because I will survive. And this should be indeed a Psycho Boost, which it is. We do survive. I get off the Thunderbolt, which should be enough to knock out the Deoxys. They actually let it go down instead of going for a switch advantage. They could have kept this Umbreon away from the Forretress. However, the Forretress is so low at this point that it really doesn't matter, and they probably felt switch wasn't important. So I go for the Mirror Shot here, and then I swap out into my Meganium. Here comes Alolan Ninetales. This is a pretty rough matchup right here. The only thing that we have going for us is that it is actually a Charm and not Powder Snow, so there is a chance for us. I'm going to throw the Frenzy Plant here. Pretty much need to get off 2 more Frenzy Plants. I'm actually going to over farm here to get to this. This should get the final shield, and then if they're not at the Weather Ball yet, I should get off this next Frenzy Plant, which we're able to do. So that is really nice for us. This should knock out the Ninetales. I swap out into my Umbreon, or into my Forretress rather, and shield this up. We should be able to commit to the Bug Bite farm down here before they get to another move. Actually, no, we're going to get to the Mirror Shot instead, so definitely have to throw that because they were probably at another foul play. But we take that game against a very scary lead in the back. So, Forretress looking super OP right now. Next matchup, Peter Von Bernal. I believe this is the final battle of the video. If you guys have enjoyed this video so far, make sure you smash the like button, it really helps me out. Forretress into Venusaur here. Another beautiful lead to finish off battles here. Got a Stunfisk safe swap. So I'm going to build up for the Earthquake. Honestly, I don't know if this is the right play, but I just wanted to throw this, to be honest. They let it go through, and now I'm kind of mad that I came with the Meganium because I was expecting a shield there. If I knew that they weren't going to shield, I would have just brought in the Deoxys, but I was clicking it ahead of time. You definitely would want to come in with Deoxys here, not Meganium, because now you open yourself up to get hit by Sludge Bomb, but at the same time, we have the Forretress after. The opponent actually doesn't even want the smoke, so they just back out, and we take that game. So those were the battles with Shadow Forretress, and I know what a lot of you are thinking. What do you do against the fire type? Well, I'm going to show you what you do against the fire type with a video I'll put on the screen right now. Basically, it's really simple, very straightforward strategy. If you see the fire type in the lead running this team, you click top left, exit battle, and you move on to the next one. That's about it. Honestly, you saw in the video there were very few fire types. I think I saw like 2 or 3 in 25 battles. 2 of them were Marowaks, one of them was running Hex anyways. So the team does struggle against that. Also could struggle against like the flying types and whatnot, but these are Pokemon that I'm not currently seeing in the meta. So you want to capitalize on that and build around teams that counter what you're seeing. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.